What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here at the Center for Stingray Biology. As you guys saw in the earlier episode, I moved out some of the stingrays from that tank back there, spread them out throughout the system here in preparation for fixing that pond. The pond liner had developed a leak, so over the weekend, Oy and I, we have already drained down the pond, pulled out the liner, did a lot of that messy, dirty work. So come on, let me show you guys what we were up to. But actually, before we get to that part, I want to show you a very special fish. This is a one-of-a-kind, first time ever seen in captivity, and you guys are gonna get the exclusive. It's a very special fish, Oy. You're gonna love it. Okay, the scientific name of this fish is Potamotrigon kimberley. What do you guys think, right? This is a very rare and special fish. I have this beautiful tank that's just for her. Now, on to today's episode. What's up, guys? So I'm working on this tank right now. You last saw that we removed everything, and come in closer, Tiff. Let me show everybody what we're doing here. Well, not my face, but show everyone what we're doing here. I'm sanding down. I'm doing some light sanding on the existing gel coat, so that when I do... Alright, let me back up for a second. So after I removed the pond liner, I saw that the condition of the tank wasn't too bad, so I decided to go forward with doing the epoxy coating. Alright, and I'm going to try to show you the best I can what I'm doing here. There's many videos out there regarding this topic already, and more or less I'm following the same basic steps. So I have cleaned down everything, wiped down everything, and then I'm doing a light sanding. I'm using 60 grit sandpaper, and I've got an orbital sander or palm sander, and I'm just doing a light coat of sanding just to remove whatever gloss there is, so that the new epoxy coating can bite onto the old coating better and stick better. So that's basically what I'm doing now. I've already done all around there. I've done partially of the floor there, and I'm gonna do some right here, and I'm gonna show you guys. All right. Hey Tiff, why don't you come on in here inside so it's easier for everyone to see what I'm doing. All right. Just a brief explanation in further detail what I'm doing. You can dry sand or you can wet sand. Now dry sanding, there's gonna be like dust everywhere, and I first started over there doing dry sanding, and I said nah, that's not the way to go, because I don't want the dust flying everywhere into the other tanks. So now I'm wet sanding. Basically is I give it a little spray and I keep sanding, and what wet sanding does is it helps to keep the sandpaper clean so that you can have a more efficient sand. So here what's happened. Now I'm gonna spray this water off. Okay. See, what was built up there before was preventing the sandpaper from doing its job. Now it's nice and clean. And I'm going to wet here a little bit. And then we're just going to start sanding. Let me show you guys real quick. See? The sandpaper is still fairly clean because the water is running through it and helping to keep it clean. If I had did just bare dry, it would have been all caked up already by now, and it just becomes very difficult to be able to effectively sand such a large area. You know, you know what? I'll just show you right here. You see the difference? So now all that particles is built up on the sandpaper, and it's just grinding around and around and around, and you're not getting a good effective sanding of it. So for you guys at home that's going to try this, or you know, wet sanding is definitely the way to go. So let me finish up this one. Alright, you see that? I was able to do that whole area and not have the paper all clumped. So next what I do is I have this bucket of water with a towel, and I'm going to wipe off the area that I just sanded, because there's a lot of that residue that's built up all over it. And I just work my way over section by section until I've completed the whole tank. You see that? And that's all the powder. So that's just a first pass. After I'm done sanding the whole thing, then I'm gonna come back with clean water and get all this powder off, because you have to remove all that powder before applying the new epoxy coating. So that's basically what I'm up to right now. I'm gonna continue on finishing the rest of this stuff, the rest of the sanding, and when I get to the actual coating of the epoxy, I'll show you guys, all right? All right, guys, so the preparation has been done. All the sanding is completed. Let me show you real quick where we're at. I sanded all the surfaces, removed any loose debris. I'm gonna give it one quick wipe down on the bottom because it's been a few days since I worked on it, so probably some dust accumulated on the bottom of the tank there. But I've got my epoxy ready, I've got all my painting tools and equipment ready, and we're gonna start the painting today, all right? So let's get to it. So I am ready to start mixing the epoxy, and the one I'm using here is bought by from Pentair Aquatic Ecosystems. So I'm gonna crack this open now, and we're gonna mix the activator in with the epoxy. All right, guys, so we're about to mix the two parts of the epoxy to get it started. And so here, come in closer and show them what it looks like. This is the activator, this is the actual epoxy, and they say to add this whole component in here all together, which I'm gonna do right now. And then I'm gonna mix it thoroughly, and they say after mixing it to let it sit for about half an hour, and then it's ready to use. So now it's important once you start this process, it's important once you start this, it's important that once you start this process, you work in a timely manner, because it's a chemical reaction that's happening here. And once it's mixed, you're on the clock, because this stuff is gonna start hardening. All right, but I believe I chose this particular one because they say the pot life is about 8 hours, but that's dependent on the temperature, and it's pretty hot today. So I would say that the pot life, which is the, well, for you guys who don't know what pot life means, that's the amount of time that you have to work with this material before it starts to harden and it becomes unusable. So it says that I have 8 hours based on 75-degree temperature, but it's like 90-something degrees today. So I'm gonna assume that I have half that time, or maybe 3 hours, but I should get this done in like an hour. I've used other brands before where the pot life is much shorter, so I can work really, really fast, and I didn't like that because it didn't give you room or time for mistakes or having to pause for some particular reason. So that's why I went with this brand this time. All right, once this is done, we're gonna let it sit for half an hour and then come back, and then we're gonna start painting. All right, so we'll be right back. All right, guys, so the paint has mixed and sat for about 30 minutes already, and I already started painting the edge all around, okay, just to get started off. And then now we're gonna roll the side walls of the tank, and I got Oi in here helping me with the brush. So what we're gonna do is, you know what? I'm gonna roll, and if she's gonna follow after me and give it a light brush, because sometimes when you roll, what happens is there's little air bubbles, and then her brush will break those air bubbles, okay? And then Oi, you can also help me paint this corner. Give me the other smaller brush, Tiffany. That smaller brush might be better for this. Hold this a second. Let me start with that first. We gotta brush all the corners first. Okay, so here we go. we're just gonna continue doing this, painting all around, and we'll get back to you when we're almost done, all right? All right, so we're pretty much done with all the sides. Now we're doing the base, and we're gonna work our way out of the tank. And then once that's done, we'll just let it dry, and then probably come back and put on a second coat. Oh.
Uh-oh.
I need a new roller. I'm all done, and well, actually, I'm not all done. I finished the first coat, and let's give you guys a quick look now. Nice, glossy, clean. I'm very happy with the results. There's some areas where I put on a little bit too thick, like right there, and it's running. And you know, a couple of areas maybe there's still a little like those little bubbles and stuff. But you know, I just had to do the best that I could. Things didn't really go according to plan. The fumes on this thing, I have to tell you, is insane. I've never used any paint or epoxy paint that had fumes like that, and I've applied many different types of coatings before, but this was absolutely the worst. I mean, I've done epoxy before and I never had fumes like this, so I really wasn't expecting it from this particular brand of epoxy, but it really knocked me out. It knocked Oi out, and we almost decided to quit. It was that bad. And you know, we got up, we opened up all the gates, turned on all the exhaust fans, you see, front and back, and finally got some like fresh air. We took a break, and then we went back to work and finished it up. But I'm still recovering. I'm feeling a little slow right now. Hopefully I don't have any brain damage from it. But now I'm contemplating whether to do the second coat or not. I had planned to put on the second coat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until tomorrow, let this thing set, let some of the fumes get out of there, because to step in there, it's crazy. When I was down there, it's like my eyes were burning, my throat was burning. I just had to get the hell out of there. And then I just did everything from the outside with a pole and the roller, which is why the final results didn't turn out to be as good as I originally had anticipated. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up for this episode, and I will work on the second coat tomorrow, and then, you know, we just have to let it cure for 7 days before refilling it and putting any fish. All right, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you were able to learn something from here. If anything that I would like you to take away from this episode is, if you're working with this kind of stuff, definitely got to be really, really well ventilated. I think what I'm going to do for the next coating is I'm going to go buy one of those masks that can actually, those respirator type of masks to filter out those fumes, because I don't think I can do it again. All right, guys, today is the next day, and we just finished, Oi and I, we just finished the second coat, and we learned from our mistakes yesterday, right? As I said earlier, yesterday we almost got knocked out by the fumes, and we weren't prepared for such strong fumes. So today we brought a fan, okay? And then Oi was aiming the fan down into the tank while I was in there, because the problem yesterday is, as we were painting around the walls, the vapors was just like surrounding us from all four sides, which was causing us to pass out pretty much, and we would have to stand up for air, and we were ready to quit. But today, with the fan blowing fresh air aimed at my face, I was able to work at a comfortable, steady pace to be able to, you know, get the quality results that I wanted, right? And I feel fine, right? I think Oi is just a little bit, what's the word, tired, or your hands are all cramped up from holding the fan aiming at my face, right? But we have all the doors open and everything, but this time it was much better. All right, so I'm glad, and we're gonna let this cure for 7 days, but I'll probably let it go 10 days just to be safe. And then when I start plumbing everything back up and filling it, I will be sure to fill you in on it. But look at Oi, enjoying yourself. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.